All right, so I'm just doing a food for thought while I'm doing some sun gazing, and basically want to touch on something that I've noticed. Just a touch briefly, and then I'll be able to break it down in other videos. I just don't want this one video too long because I know how our attention span is very short. So the first thing I just want to talk about before I even forget is that everyone should not save their passwords on their phone, delete all their passwords off of any Google password accounts, Samsung accounts, any locker. Is because of the fact that I've been receiving emails, verification codes to reset my passwords for various social media accounts and accounts when I have never requested for that. And for what that means is if someone's able to mirror your phone and you're getting notifications of verification codes and you're looking at the verification code, or just let's say in this case, when I click on the verification code, I can't even see what it's from and what time. It just goes away. So for what I noticed is that your passwords are not safe, bro. Not on these computers, not on these devices. Just delete all your passwords off of these lockers and only have 3 strong passwords that you rotate through, so that if they only give you 3 attempts, you only can work through the 3 attempts. And if it doesn't work, then reset the password. Because what I'm noticing right now, I'm going through an identity crisis, and I just want to let everybody know that the password lockers and the password savers on the phone is not good. Do not save your passwords. Just make 3 strong passwords right here in your mind and rotate between them. And if those 3 don't work, then reset the password. So that's just one of the food for thoughts, because I just didn't want to forget, because that's not what this particular video is going to be about. But I just really want to touch on trauma in general, and I see how relatable our trauma is, and where the trauma is actually, to me, is a social experiment for isolation and dependency. And as I go through these 10 things on this list, I want to know how many men or women can relate to these 10 things. And if you can relate to 5 out of 10 of these things, that means that you are potentially, your trauma is potentially orchestrated or provoked. So as I go through the 10 things, I'm gonna tell you exactly what the trauma should have done to you, so that you can understand how certain trauma can be linked to a particular emotion. So let's see here. So the first one is poor connections with the opposite parent. So if you're a girl, you will have a poor connection with your mother, and then if you're a boy, you will have a poor connection with the father. And what that does, bring lack. That means you are going to seek that lack from something and someone else. That's why we always be looking into someone for what we are lacking. Usually it starts from home. And then the second one is sibling rivalry. So which means is like feeling like the black sheep, feeling left out, feeling like you weren't treated like the others, so on and so forth. And what that usually stems within someone is either jealousy or insecurity. And those are 2 low level energies or emotions, basically. The third thing is poor connections with the family as a whole. So that just means that you only associate with your immediate family. So usually it's always just within your mom and dad family, very close knit, or just within your home. But to me, what that does, that divides lack of support. Because that means if you are only close with the people that are in your home, that means if anybody in that home cannot support you or help you out, who do you call? Who is your outside support? Because I believe you should start with the family before you start seeking friends and so on and so forth. The fourth thing is friends in schools, moving away, or just switching schools in general. I've noticed when I was a kid, from 5 to 7, I was in foster care, and every 2 to 3 months, I was going to a new school. And every time I got close to someone, I had moved away or they moved away. So I started learning early as a child that once I get close to someone, you start feeling abandoned, you feel detached, you don't start connecting with people, because you start to feel like once I start liking someone, or right when I get close to someone, something happens to them or they move away. So then that starts you from not connecting with people. You start not learning how to connect because you're so worried about the ending of the relationships. I've noticed that when I meet people, they're so worried about the connection and where it's going to go, and I'm thinking like, what is that about when like we're cool? But no, it's a trauma. The fifth thing is high betrayals. So that just means that everyone that you come across have some form of some highest betrayal. Like it doesn't matter if it's close to you or not. Like everyone has felt some like ultimate backstab, some ultimate something that make you basically have trust issues. So now once you've been betrayed at the highest extent, it will start developing trust issues with you and other people. So again, you start isolating yourself because you don't trust people. You've been betrayed at the highest extent. So again, all of these things that I'm listing is just going back to isolation and dependency. And then the sixth thing that I have here is hate for your own race and in your own gender. And what I've noticed is that when I speak to women or men, they are saying that they don't even like their own race and they don't even like their own gender. So that's why you will see a lot of females hanging with men and men hanging with females. And then when you notice when you speak to these men and women, they always say, it goes all the way back from childhood, that they never got along with their same race and their same gender. Yeah, I don't see no connection and why that's not okay for you to be in your own race and your own gender, and you can, that makes you again isolate. You have identity issues because again, if you can't relate to your own gender, you can't relate to your own race, then you guess what you're going to do? You're going to seek the opposite of everything, the opposite of your race, the opposite of your gender. That's how we start to find out who we are and if what we like. And the whole point is, if you don't look at your whole life from the time you were born and all the trauma you've endured and how the trauma has now led up to this point right now where you are isolated and dependent, it's because one of these 10 things that I'm listing here. And obviously there's more, but these are the top 10 things that I've noticed that right when you say these things, everybody can be like, yeah, I know somebody, or I went through that. That's not a coincidence to me. But again, I'll elaborate in a later video. Let's see here. Number 7. All your friends starts to fade. So if you are a person that had great parents and you were able to stay in one school and you grew up from your friends from elementary to middle school, high school to college, what I'm trying to say is as you get older, closer down to your 30s, now we all can relate to say the friends that we had in high school and middle school have now faded away. Now you're in not as in close proximity. So that means that most of the time that you're talking to these people is usually over the internet, and then it's always on one particular occasion out of the year. And I don't find that a coincidence either. That again, that once we have made close friends and connections with friends and family, everybody moves away. Everybody just starts separating, isolating, and we now are just only being close with our friends and family within our own home. Like I'm again, isolation and dependency. Number 8. Working 10 to 11 jobs, not 10, 11 jobs, working 10 to 11 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Again, that robs you from connection. And then it brings you to dependency. So again, now you're isolated and now you're dependent on the job because now you work 10, 11 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. You need that job to whatever the hell you're doing. And then on top of that, you are not hanging out with your friends. You don't really have time for yourself like you should, you know? Let's see. Number 9. When I was young, I noticed a lot of people start having kids early. And I noticed that when you start having kids early, it starts to isolate you very early, you know? And I started to notice that when you start having kids at any point of your life, it starts to isolate you because now you have to work 10, 11 hours a day to take care of the child. And now the love and attention and everything you're going to do for yourself and your friends, you really are now dividing that. And most times you're going to have to put your family first and then everybody else comes secondary. But again, I see the social experiment. If you don't think things through early on from the time, let's say we're talking about childbirth, you would now, I hear it in I don't think postpartum is just a joke and that women just go through it. No, it's trauma that they haven't yet healed from. And now they just added a kid on top of that. And now you want this person to be a super person, a super everything. No, I'm not. So that's what I'm trying to say. And lastly is 10. It's having one to no friends. So what I've noticed is that when I'm speaking to adults, why is it everyone only have one to no friends? Because when you look at all the trauma that I listed here, when your friends have moved away, you having betrayals, lack of connection with your whole family or any part of your family, you start to not trust people. You start to have a smaller circle. You start to isolate again. Everything comes back to isolation and dependency. And basically, just to wrap this video up, because I do want to elaborate more, because I know when I go live, people are going to want to ask questions and people want to go back and forth and have commentary. So I just wanted to have this video like kind of straight to the point, because I'm noticing I'm getting to 10 minutes here. So basically, if you can relate to 5 to 10 of these things that I've listed here on this paper, it means that potentially your trauma was orchestrated. It was a social experiment. And I advise anyone that went through a lot of these things is to control, alt, delete that trauma, those emotions, that pain. When you really wake up and realize that you were in a simulated social experiment environment, you're going to really look at everything a little different. You're not going to be really in a victim mentality anymore. You're going to really be in like, how did I let this happen to me type energy. You're going to be more of accountability of like, why was I not aware of this? Like, why did nobody help? Then you start to realize it's just trauma that's passed on and passed on. If your mom never got help, never got talked to nobody, how's she going to help you talk? It's the same thing. And then you start understanding people. Then you start having forgiveness for people, because you see things from a whole different perspective and a whole different light. And basically, to me, the agenda overall is attack on women, so that every time I see women, we're always by ourselves. That's why every time I talk to a woman, she never had friends that were women from a childhood, and then it always was men. And then now as an adult, she has a baby, but she's a single mother in her apartment. She goes from her house to the daycare back home. It's like a control situation. Like, we got her pregnant. She ain't got no friends around her, because what friends can you really have when you got to take care of your child? What parties, like, you got to really think about what isolates you from the connection of the world, and you got to focus on those things. There are agendas out here, and to me, the number one is to control who can date who. That's why I've noticed, like, why would women be okay with a man having 10 wives or something? It's because if she's living in a city where everyone is incompetent, everyone is not thriving, and you see this one man come in, find everything, you gonna be okay with whatever he offering. He can have everything going on that's negative, red flag, but you're going to accept it because it's better than what you've been seeing. That's why I'm thinking, like, we're settling for less is because of the trauma that we've endured. I feel like when people go on these dating websites, they feel like some men getting more. It is true. It is true. Because it's a social experiment. They want to control who dates. It's like the little African who wants to populate the world and who can do what and who can do what. And then the next thing is who can have the support. Because if they know that women, let's say we all hang out on weekends together, or we start bringing our money together and actually start doing stuff together and not thinking that we're in competition and stop being insecure and stop thinking that somebody's trying to snake you every 5 seconds, we will be able to come together. But you got to realize, I really feel like this is a woman thing, because men, for some reason, they get to find odd jobs and things that we just can't do. Men can go find landscaping. Like, they can do so much when it comes to skillful work that a woman is lacking. That's why when you see a woman, most times her options is what? Prostitution, stripping, selling drugs, something on the internet, selling her body. Like, she don't have a lot of options like how a man can come get out here and go get it. Like, she really don't. So when you want to condemn a woman for selling herself short, first sit back. What was her trauma, bruh? Who's her support, bro? Because if you got support out here, you shouldn't be in no strip club. You shouldn't be selling your body because you got support out here. It should be somebody in your life to tell you what you're doing ain't right, and I'm gonna help you so you can get through it, so you don't have to do those things. That's how I know when we are living in a time right now that we can look at somebody and judge them based off of their actions, judge them based off of their career, judge them based off of their money, judge them based off. I'll be like, y'all are fucking asleep. Y'all fucking are asleep. And it burns my heart because it's like, are you fucking kidding me? We all got the same trauma, and then some of us don't process the trauma like how everybody else processes it. So some people get their ass whooped out here when they family die or they lose their car or they lose their job. They literally fold, and they don't want to work. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to get back up, bro. But some people out here, we hungry for life. So we are hungry for challenges. We're hungry for mistakes. We know it's going to make us wiser at the end of it all. So whatever you go through, you got to embrace it with a smile on your face, bro. And that's how you know how you cannot judge other people, because some people look like what they've been through and some people just don't. So when somebody hear my story, it's like, oh, you should be like really out of it. But no, you can see that everything that I've been through helped me become a beautiful soul inside and out. I never let what happened to me become a victim mentality, like, oh, poor me, oh, woe me, look at my life, look at my life, no, I looked at everything that's ever happened to me as a blessing to become a better person, to evolve. And the number one thing God wants me to know is to never turn into your enemies. Never turn into your enemies. Never. Always stay core to who you are, and then let them change. Let them ponder on if they were doing you bad, because when a good person goes home and wonder if they were doing someone else wrong, it's not you. And I guess the last thing is, before you start connecting with anyone, have core values, have core boundaries. And the number one core value is respect. If someone doesn't respect themselves and other people, they will disrespect you. So that's why you worry about somebody giving you a low blow when you have an argument. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't respect you. They don't know that respecting you and you crossing that line, it's over. There's consequences when somebody disrespects you. And most times it's cutting them off. You don't have to have a parade. You don't have to have a sign. Just cut them off. Get people out your life that's disrespectful. That's the number one thing. People want to give people the same chance. Oh, no, you disrespect me. You out of here. Bye-bye. Because I was never disrespectful to you. So when people be like, why she can cut people off and switch? Because I stayed true from day one, a nice person with good intentions. And I only wanted to have good, genuine conversations with you. And you had did some crazy fuck shit to now that I am not going to deal with this. I know not to tolerate this because I have respect for myself. And the second thing is self-love. Because when you love yourself, you're going to set a boundary on how people can handle you, how people can talk to you, and then what they can say about you. Then you don't need validation. You don't need acceptance because you love yourself. That's everything comes back down to self-love and respect. Have those two values and you can assess somebody. Because if somebody don't love themselves, they ain't going to love you. It like literally a like attracts a like. So don't hang around people that doesn't uplift you, ain't on your same vibration. Because I've noticed as empaths, we gravitate to people that are in pain, that is in need, anybody that we can help. But then when you realize when it's time for you to be in help, they've never helped nobody before to get them help. And then when they do it, they're doing it to limit you, which means that they're not going to give you the sauce and the juice to become a better person because they don't want you better than them. We live in that type of time in society right now. You can do good, but not better than me. So I'm going to tell you enough gems. I'm going to tell you enough encouragement just so you can be okay. I would never tell you everything for you to be the best version of yourself and give you, no, you got to peep that about certain people. That they only tell you enough so that you could be okay. You know somebody that's trying to fill your soul, feed you with some gems and be like, look, this is what you go through, nigga, this is how we gonna do it. We can do it together. But we don't live in this time right now. We live in a time where you only can do, you can't do better than me. You can't do better than me. That's why it's like, why share your dreams? Why tell people anything? That's why I say be self-sufficient. Work on yourself. Focus on yourself. And then when you know who you are, you love yourself, you respect yourself, then it's easy to notice who don't respect you. It's going to be easy to know when someone's about to betray you, snake you, do some shit. Because when you love yourself and you respect yourself, you ain't just about to have anything and anybody come in and out at leisure. Because you know that the first thing I'm looking for into somebody is self-love and respect. And then again, I'll go on to universal laws, because if I love karma, I need to be around people that understand that what you put out in this universe is what you get back. It's not about when it does, but it will. Because when people understand that what you say, what you do, how you think is going to come back to you, then you're going to be around good people that always have good intentions, because they know karma's going to be right fucking around the goddamn corner knocking. Like, yeah, you remember those lies? You remember all all of that? We're coming to collect. Thank you. And people really be thinking it's the same thing that you've done. Like God he's different. He makes sure it hits different. So you know it was your karma, bruh. It ain't, some stuff is eye for eye, but no. I swear to God, I only want people around me, because you don't have to be religious and all of that. If you know universal laws, just the basic universal laws, which means what comes around goes around, what you reap, what you sow, what you put out, what you get back, that means we cool in a motherfucker. Because that means that I shouldn't think about you doing some fuck shit. I shouldn't have to, because that means that I know that if you do something to me, you know God or whatever you believe in is about to come collect at some point in your life. That means you repent. That means you actually feel genuinely sorry for the fuck shit that you do. And that means that you can actually take accountability and responsibility for your wrongdoings and your actions and be wanting to become a better person. So it's not about God to me. It's about the universal laws of the basic of what you put out here. People want to know how some people are better than other people. It's what you put out here, bro. People eliminating the darkest negative energies and want to know why their life doesn't excel like certain other people. What do you think about all day? What do you put out all day? That's what you're going to get back. Exactly what you get out. So that's why every day I wake up with a smile. Every day I wake up with peace, gratitude. Because I know when I put out love, when I put out peace, I'm going to get that back. I'm going to get that back. So I just want to wrap this video up just to let y'all know that trauma is a social experiment, you guys. It's an experiment. Control, alt, delete these emotions and this trauma from your past and know that you are the creator of your life and moving forward. And now that you are aware, you are woke, you cannot say that you don't know. Because now once you know, you can't. God don't give you second chances now once you know. So hopefully that this video do come on your timeline. Because that means now he's going to hold you accountable that you know now. That you can't have your past be your reason why you ain't happy right now. You can't have your past be the reason why you ain't successful right now. You can't have your past be the reason why you ain't smiling. God wants you to know stoic philosophy. Only do what you can control, like what's in your power, and anything else is in his hands. That's why they say vengeance is the Lord. Revenge is something that's self-sabotage, and it's actually you being selfish and you're doing something in your own power, because that means that you don't think God will handle your lightweight. You got to really believe God will handle your lightweight. And when you believe that cold-heartedly, that means you will hold your tongue, because you're going to have respect for everybody. Because you know when people be waiting for you to pop off and say some fuck shit, nah. Because when you believe in karma, that means that you know that's going to come back to you. So I'd rather walk away and be quiet. Or I'd rather not say nothing, because you got to understand when God handles your lightweight, you ain't got to say mean stuff. You ain't got to retaliate. You don't need revenge. You don't have hate in your heart, because God takes all that away from you. So that all you can think about is love, peace, and kindness. And then he handles everything else. Because if you don't believe in karma, bro, that means that you're going to be out here doing eye for eye, tit for tat, get this nigga back type. And no, you can't be in that energy. Revengeful energy, resentful energy. Get that out. You gotta believe in just in karma, bruh. And I'm not pushing religion on nobody, but once you start believing in universal laws, energy, start learning about quantum physics, you're gonna understand how powerful energy is. Energy is real, and this video is not to elaborate, but I'm just gonna let you guys know right now. Energy is everything. Start looking into quantum physics, and you will start understanding the spiritual world. Then you're going to start understanding religion. Then you're going to start understanding witchcraft. Then you're going to start understanding the laws of the universe, because everything is energy. Everything is frequency. Peace, love, and light, family.